of Week 4 between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Um, Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions won 34-20. Jared Goff went 19 of 28, 210 yards passing, one touchdown, one pick. Dave Montgomery, former Bear David Montgomery, 32 carries, 121 yards, three touchdowns. And for the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love went 23 of 36, 246 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. This game was really not even as close to the score once you'd think it was. This is something where Packers tried that little fake comeback at the end, which would have 100% worked on the Bears, but didn't work on this team here as Dan Campbell came, punched them right back in the mouth and put them back in their place. There's two things I took from this game. One, the Detroit Lions are really for real, and they're going to get Jameson Williams back early because of the new change in the gambling rules the NFL updated today. So he's going to be coming back, and that's going to be another addition to the already good offense. But the number one thing that I came from this is just how far the Chicago Bears are from actually competing in this division. That's what I got from that game. And it also, I couldn't even, it's the first time I've seen the Packers primetime loss, and I couldn't get happy about it because, yes, Jordan Love is mid. And I think that is very evident right now. I think the Bears and the Saints should be ashamed for letting people think that he's decent. He's not. He sucks. But he looked like Dan Marino against the Chicago Bears, and that's everything I took from that. But the Lions look like they're ready to go. Dan Campbell is a great coach. Everybody, I know Bears fans like to overreact to, they're using Dave Montgomery different. No, they're using Dave Montgomery the same way. They just got a better offensive line. That's pretty the only thing I saw right there. The defense looks ready to go. And in an NFC where there's really not a favorite, in my personal opinion, I think the Eagles are still the Eagles, but I have not been overly impressed with their new offense. Brock Purdy's look good, but what is he going to do come, playoff time? I think that's a question there. Detroit Lions, to me, put themselves firmly in this, not just NFC North, but the NFC conversation.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. It's kind of what we didn't want to buy into the hype, the preseason hype, but it's actually turning out to be exactly what they are, a really good football team. They got a great coach. They've built the coach. They built it from the trenches, which what we've been begging our team to do. But like you said, they have a really good offensive line, and you add a running back like David Montgomery who gets a lot of yards after carries, and then you said they force fed him. Jared Goff did a good job not turning the ball over this game. Sometimes he can't give it away. He didn't do that to last night, and they dominated. And like you said, at this point, like I hate that everything usually turns back to us shitting on the Bears, but I mean,
it is what it is.
It's an unfortunate reality
Yeah.
right now. So I mean, but like I said, no, the Lions are a really good football team, whether you want to admit it or not. So that's all I saw. It's still early, but they good.
Yeah, they look solid. I mean, but they're built the right way, man. They're tough on both lines, offense and defense. So their lines are stout, and they went in there and they won a game. Ideally, how the Bears would want to win a game up in Lambeau, and that would be by running the shit out of the ball. The Lions, I think they ran the ball was something like 41 or 42 times yesterday. The Bears, between all of their running backs, have a total combined 43 carries through 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So um, the lines are looking good. I mean, we're gonna still have to see it. But they're looking right, and now they're gonna be getting Jameson Williams back, so that's gonna be their over the top threat, and that's only gonna open up the offense even more for them.
Definitely.
Hutch said it best last night. Aaron's out the division now. Life is good. I do think the Detroit Lions made a serious step in the right direction this season. I never thought I'd actually be able to say that in my lifetime, but Lions are looking nice. Maybe not Eagles, Niners nice, but they're looking nice.
Yeah, I think just really, and it's like you said, Dante. I hate bringing up the Bears every time, but it's just like I was disgusted. I was like, even the Detroit Lions got it together before the Bears did. Like, what is going on? Like, it infuriates me to no level. Like, I don't really have any beef with the Detroit Lions. Like, Detroit Lions are like, I don't know, like your stepbrother or something. Like, as bad as it's been for the Bears historically, it's been way worse for them niggas, like by far. But their fan base talking a lot this summer, but their team is backing it up. Unlike the stuff that we talked this summer, Our team is not backing it up whatsoever. So I got to get love to them, man. And Dan Campbell's actually one of my favorite coaches in the league because he's just a pure football guy. I love what he brings to the table. And I just love what they're doing with that whole organization. And I've always said with having family in Detroit, it's a very underrated fan base that I don't think a lot of people talk about, obviously, because they've been so historically bad. But you saw those Lions fans in Lambeau last night. You seen just how they've been. Ford Field is one of the most hyped up places to watch a game. Last year, when they were in that playoff race, in the last game they played against the Bears, which they completely wiped the Bears off the map, was it was loud in there. It was crazy up in there. So I can only imagine what it's gonna be like if they host their own playoff game. Of course, they win the division, they will host a playoff game. That's gonna be interesting to see. But it's a long season. There's still a lot of time for the Detroit Lions to do some Detroit Lions stuff. But for right now, I think you can't ask for a better start than what they're doing. They're now 3-1. Really could be easily 4-0 if they didn't, lose in overtime to the Seattle Seahawks. But start off the season, ruining ring night for the Kansas City Chiefs, coming on, knocking off your division rival. I mean, it's a great start for them. I don't really think there's anything else that any other way you can want to start the season if I was them. So that's what I'll give to the Detroit Lions, man. So let's move on to more NFL. A team that put up 70 American football points, the Miami Dolphins. When I was at Arrowhead on Sunday, was one of the few things that there was two things people were talking about in the press row pregame. One was Taylor Swift, and I will get on that later in this show. What problem I have with that, and her security and what they was on with me, but that's a whole different conversation. But they were also talking about just how many points they're putting up. And first it was like, oh, it's 50. And I was like, what? That's a lot. It's 60. And then it was somebody, oh, they put up 70. And I just couldn't believe it. With everything they're doing there, Mike McDaniel, he's doing something. Me and Mikey talked about this in the group chat. What he's done with Tua and basically catering around his strengths, which is what a smart head coach is supposed to do. You're seeing all that come together. You're seeing Tyreek Hill just being amazing. And yes, I know that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year, but you can't tell me that Pat still doesn't miss Tyreek Hill. Like, he had a touchdown last week that he ran the wrong route, and that just shows you just what kind of a video game player he is. Now, we're only into the first quarter of the season. My question for y'all: is there overreaction to say that the Miami Dolphins should be title favorites right now?
Not at all. I think when you got an offense like that, and one thing we've said, even though we always have a little caveat with it, we said if Tua stays healthy, that this team is a very dangerous team. And now you get to a point where they're doing this with Jalen Ramsey out, so you're gonna eventually add Jalen Ramsey to that defense. That's another weapon that they'll be able to use on the other side of the ball. But offensively, when you have that type of speed and those type of skill players, and we also remember, if people forget, a few weeks ago we heard rumors that they were interested in Jonathan Taylor. So, imagine if they add a piece like that to this offense. So, I think the sky's the limit for them when you have an offensive mind like Mike McDaniels. And it goes to a point that, Scott, I think you said this, but he said, at this point, I'm starting to think, defensive head coaches, that's not really the wave no more. Like, that's a poor decision. And Mike McDaniels is one of those people who's showing you exactly why, because they're really locked in and that they're only going to grow together and get better. So I think they definitely are a title favorite.
Yeah, I agree. They have everything that you want in an offense, especially in like the modern day offense. Is that my cat? I thought somebody broke into the house. I'm like, who the fuck is crawling on the floor? Yo, that shit tweaked me out. Um, but no, they have everything that you want in an offense, and that's what you're looking for, especially in the division they play in, because they're going to get into shootouts. We're going to get into it later, when we break down these games, but they are going to be playing the Bills, and those two are the best. Those are the best two teams in the East. I know, the Jets were up there prior to the Aaron Rodgers situation, and losing them, but both of those teams can put up points in bunches, and you need that. When it comes down to the crunch time. So I think the Dolphins definitely, are a title contender. They are gonna have to somewhat kind of learn how to play some defense. I don't think they've gotten nearly the return that they wanted that they envisioned when they traded for Bradley Chubb from the Broncos. But they've given, as far as offense, and as far as giving their young quarterback everything he needs to thrive. I mean, what more could you ask for? You got a top 5 wide receiver in the game in Tyreek Hill that you went and traded, and you gave him the bag. You also went and you drafted another one in Jalen Waddle in the top 10. You went and you signed the best, left tackle that was out there available this year, in free agency, in Teron Armstead. And then you pair him together with, Mike McDaniels, who comes from that Shanahan McVay tree, and like the sky's the limit for them. And like Dante said, we always did put the caveat as long as Tua could stay healthy. So, I'm down here, and the way the Bears keep going, my Sundays are gonna start switching to watching these
I was about to
motherfuckers.
say
Cause
you might as
no,
well.
yeah. I'm gonna start watching these motherfuckers because it's modern day football, and it's a lot way more exciting than watching that shit we've been watching.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing I could say that Mikey didn't just cover. They got the best receiver room in the league, arguably. Tua's firing on all cylinders right now. I don't know if I necessarily am ready to say that they're better than the Chiefs, but I still I have some reservations though about Kansas City right now because we saw how they looked without Travis Kelce. Um, am I ready to put them above the Bills yet? Not 100% sure, but we, like Dante said earlier, we know how that kind of goes. They go back and forth with each other. I don't know, man. Favorites, I don't know. Recency bias is a wild thing. I think we just saw a team score 70 points and we're all kind of in awe because it doesn't happen. The Broncos are really just, that was pathetic. But yeah, man, I don't know if I'm ready to put them up there as the favorites quite yet in the AFC, but we'll see.
Yeah, but my bad, Scott. But one thing to
No, go
piggyback
ahead.
on that is we were seeing the signs of this last year. I mean, they came out the gate to start the season last year hot as fuck. If it wasn't for Tua getting suplex in Cincinnati, you know what I'm saying? Like we were already seeing I think they were what 3-0, 4-0 at that time too. So like we're kind of seeing the maturation and the progression in that offense. So like we said, it's gonna all fall down with Tua and his health, like with everything, with all these teams, it all comes down to the quarterback. But like I don't think it's a fluke because we started seeing it last year. It just so happened that man had CTE early on, and that was it.
Yeah, I think one thing too, like what you just said, Courtney. Like they're gonna, I won't say they about to start playing big boy ball because they do got a lot of huff. Like they got the Bills. This game to me on Sunday is gonna tell me a lot against the Bills, even though we know how off and on Josh Allen can be. I think that that's been well documented on this show. They're gonna get a real test this week because you're gonna have to play some defense when you own up a team like against the Buffalo Bills. Then they get two passes. Giants at home, Panthers at home. Then it gets a little tough. Then you go on the road to Philadelphia. That's going to be a real testing game right there. Even though the Patriots are still a division game, that Bill Belichick's defense knows how to scheme. Even though they're 5-0 against Bill Belichick in the Tua era since Tom Brady has left, that's still going to be a tough game. But I've got November 5th circled. This is the game that's going to be. I think this is the London game
Yeah, that's
or
the
the
London
Germany
game.
game. Yeah, the
Yeah.
London or Germany game.
Germany overseas. Yeah.
Germany game, the one they kicked the Bears out of, rightfully so, because we don't need to have those Germans watching this crap. You know what I'm saying? But they will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs in that one, and then they really have kind of a soft schedule, honestly. So, but I'm with you. Like as of right now, I would consider them the favorites, just going off what we've seen in this first quarter. But I've kind of treated the Kansas City Chiefs the same way that I'm treating how I used to treat the Patriots for all those years. It's just until somebody proves to me that they can beat 15 in a playoff game, and 9 times out of 10 a playoff game in Arrowhead, it doesn't really matter to me what other teams are doing, because we know when it's time to get it going. Come playoff time, they're gonna get it rocking. We know what Patrick Mahomes can do. We know what Andy Reid can do. You got Chris Jones back in the fold, and Travis Kelce's gonna do his thing too. So I definitely would still probably say that long term, I would still put my money on Kansas City unless somebody gets hurt. But at the moment, you gotta love how Miami's playing, especially coming off how their season ended last year with Tua getting hurt. But they put up a fight even in that playoff game against the Bills. So I just love everything that Mike McDaniels is doing over there. And that's something that I'm really excited to see how it's going to roll out for the rest of the year. And I'm still not the biggest Tua guy, but I think he works perfectly in the system, man. So that's how I feel about Miami.